Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope you had a good week and a beautiful Saturday morning. It's a nice weather outside. It's not very cold. Uh, so thank you all for joining and very, very grateful to all of you for being here with us. Thank you, Ayan, for sharing the screen. Somehow my computer got hung. Um, so today we are going to study topic number 7. This episode is called Karma, Free Will, and Destiny. Last time we heard about the law of karma and infallible justice. So, do you have anything that stood out for you from the last session during the week you were thinking you want to share or uh, ask anything before we jump into the video for the next one? Okay. So,
Karma, free will, and destiny. Karma means activities performed by the living entities conditioned by the three modes of material nature. These activities are performed under the control and purview of time. The law of karma is similar to the scientific law of action and reaction observed in the physical system. There are good and bad, i.e., pious and sinful activities. Both these activities are binding, i.e., they have reactions. One may wonder, if a living entity is subject to the results of previous activities, then what is the scope for free will? Once having committed either a pious or whimsical action, the living entity would be bound in an endless chain of suffering, being perpetually subject to previous reactions. If every move we made was completely controlled by fate, destiny, or astrological influences, how could there be such a thing as right act or wrong act? For that matter, why should we feel regret towards something we were forced to do? And if everything is destined, why do various books of various faiths take so much trouble to offer valuable lessons to discriminate between the right and wrong and choose the path of right action? What is destined? What is not destined? By living a righteous life in accordance to the laws of nature, one attains a better position in the material world. As a result, one may be rich, learned, or beautiful. Thus it is destined whether one will be born rich or poor, learned or illiterate, beautiful or ugly. What is not destined, however, is how one is going to use all these facilities awarded, or how one is going to behave in difficult circumstances. That action will decide the future destiny. Herein lays the free will for the spiritual consciousness to exercise. One who is born with some assets and facilities should know that they are all meant for the advancement of our spiritual consciousness. Unfortunately, when a person is misguided, he misuses his high position for the purpose, sense, gratification, in the form of intoxication, illicit affairs, or gambling. In these ways, the plundering senses take away all the assets that the conditioned spirit has acquired with great difficulty. Here is a practical example to clarify the relationship between destiny and free will. A person purchases a ticket for an airline flight and boards the plane. Once the plane takes off, that person's decision to board the plane forces him or her to continue flying until the plane lands. He or she cannot change their decision now to, say, travel by road. Their decision is tied to the destination of the plane. Although he or she is forced to be bound by this destiny on board the plane, they can make many new decisions. They may accept the food and drink from the stewardess or reject it. They may read a magazine or newspaper, or they may sleep, walk up and down the aisle, converse with other passengers, and so on. In other words, although the general context, flying to a particular city, is forcibly imposed as a reaction to his or her previous decision to board the plane, even within that situation, they are constantly making new decisions and creating new reactions. For example, if they cause a disturbance on the airplane, they may be arrested when the plane lands. On the other hand, If they make friends with the businessman sitting next to them on the plane, such a contact may lead to a favorable business transaction in the future. Thus, our destiny does not hamper our free will. A sincere spirit engaged in the process of bhakti, loving devotional service, can easily overcome the previous conditionings by humble submission to the grace of Supreme. By being grateful and submitting ourselves to the will of Supreme, Krishna as Paramatma within the heart eradicates the reactions to all karma and cleanses the mind of all misgivings. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text 10 through 11, Krishna says, "To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Out of compassion for them, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance." Destiny. My endeavor or Supreme's grace. Some people think there is no such thing as destiny. Everything is in our own hands. This philosophy is called Karmavada. It is similar to the way a baby monkey holds on to the mother. The baby monkey holds on to the belly or back of the mother monkey, and the mother jumps from one branch to another. It is entirely up to the baby to hold on to the mother. If the baby's grip loosens, the baby slips. This kind of philosophy only leads to frustration. Mike Tyson, on becoming the world heavyweight boxing champion at the age of 19, declared, "I am the youngest champion, and I will be the oldest champion." In his 40s, he was trying to make a comeback, but he soon gave up after being defeated, saying, "I can't lie to myself anymore. I can't fight anymore," and announced retirement. Some other people think everything is determined by destiny. Nothing is in our hands. This philosophy is called Daivavada. It is similar to the way a cat carries the kitten in its mouth. The kitten is completely dependent on the mother cat. This philosophy is usually used to justify laziness or irresponsibility. The truth, however, lies somewhere in between. The Vedic texts explain that these two ideologies, Karmavada, endeavor karma, alone determines success, and Daivavada, destiny daiva, alone determines success, are the two extremes of the pendulum of human imagination. In reality, success requires both endeavor and destiny. For example, in agriculture, a good harvest requires both diligent plowing and timely rains. Plowing represents endeavor, and rains signify destiny. Despite plowing, no harvest can result if there are no rains. Similarly, sometimes, despite our best efforts, we may fail due to adverse destiny. When people are uninformed about the role of destiny in determining results, failures make them feel hopeless. I am worthless and I cannot do anything well, even when they have the potential to perform well in the future. Consequently, today many people in the world are unfortunately and needlessly suffering from mental problems like inferiority complex, low self-esteem, depression, and self-pity. Krishna gives us hope in the Bhagavad Gita by pointing out that though we do not determine the result, we do play a significant role. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 47, "You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself to be the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty."
That was a lot of content, lot of important things, right? Uh, and I think Satish, I'm seeing you for the first time, so welcome, Satish.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So, so yeah, very, very important video and Gupta. So yeah, and let's go to the icebreaker. What is a typical day like for you? Would anyone like to pick this question?
Yeah, I can go.
Weekend or weekday, whatever, because I think weekday and weekend look very different for us, right? So whichever you want to pick up.
Weekends are more interesting, I would say. But weekdays are interesting as well. For me, a weekday goes like waking up early, meditating, doing some workouts and yoga, and then getting started on work. Through the day, I try to get out when the sun shines to go for a walk. Most times it's possible. And at the end of the day, it's usually I wrap up with reading some kind of a book at night. That's my typical day on a weekday.
That's in contrast to my day. That's something I would like to achieve, to be very honest. So I'll share next. So my day, honestly, like begins the day before, because every day I think that I'll sleep in time, and then I wake up until 1 a.m., 2 a.m., like doing whatever, sometimes working, sometimes not, sometimes just and then every day I think that okay, next day I'll wake up early. And then this has been happening for such a long time now that I've just kind of accepted that okay, this is it. But I then wake up around 8, 9, and then more lately I've been like I don't have classes because my classes are done. So I don't have a lot of work either, because like I'm looking for jobs, and that is not like typical work that I know what I have to do. Very open-ended kind of work. So I find myself just sometimes thinking about like what do I have to do, doing those, but then also sleeping a lot. So anyways, going on tangents. And then like slowly then I realize, okay, no, my defense is coming up, I have to do this, I have to do that. Then I um, do all of those things, and then the cycle repeats. So quite a stark difference.
I just wanted to say, it's not that I've always done this. You look very young. For me, it took 48 years to get to this point. So it's not like, I've always done this. So
Hopefully I get into this, or hopefully I break this loop that I'm currently in.
Yeah, my sleep cycle, it's pretty similar to yours as well, Pritam. I usually go to bed like around 11 midnight, and then I wake up like around 2 or 3 in the morning. And it takes me a couple hours to fall back to sleep again. And then I will wake up like around 8 a.m. Then I do a mindful, grateful, what do you call it, morning meditation for about 15, 30 minutes. And then I go for a walk. If the weather is, the weather is nice, and then get ready for work. By the time I get home from work, it's like around 7, sometimes 8. Dinner, and then do maybe like 40 to an hour of meditation at night. And then I call it a day.
we can't hear you, Gaurav.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I was asking what kind of meditation do you do, Zuin?
Morning or night?
Anytime, whichever you want to share, you're comfortable sharing.
So in the morning, I do like a meditation where I am grateful for the day ahead. And then at night, I just I do like a reflection meditation, and I also chant with the beats, do the Maha.
Mahamantra?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And then afterward, maybe for like I spend maybe, I don't know, I want to say 15 minutes, I pray.
Very nice. Interesting. Thank you. Yeah. So for me also, like I try to get up early, like 5 or something like that, and do some meditation, then get ready for, work, and in the evening spend time with family, do some exercise, maybe play in the ground and things like that. So it's pretty much similar. And weekends, yeah, it depends on the family how and kids how they plan and things like that. It's pretty much unplanned weekends. Okay, and so we can move to you if you want to share, or
I don't think there's any more slides to share, Gaurav.
okay, the questions, you mean? The questions are there?
Sorry?
Are there any questions?
Yeah, there are questions, but there's no like, that's just a handout.
I see. So, so yeah, for this video, um, would you like to share like what stood out for you, and um, or if you have any questions on the video before we jump into the uh,
Yeah, yeah. I actually wrote down something that I thought I'd ask, and I've asked this I think earlier also, like whenever I've talked to people. But like I've gotten some, like I still have this question inside me, so I'm just going to ask that not being attached to not doing duty is something I think the video said. Don't be attached to not doing your duty, because um, yeah, because it says that you should do your duty, but in a detached form. There I feel like I find difficult, that if I am not attached to my duty, I find that kind of difficult to um, do that duty. And I'm kind of I'll feel like, okay, I'll just not do it. If nothing matters, why will I do anything?
mm-hmm. So what is the question?
How do I still do my duty, even in a detached form, detached from the fruits? How can I keep myself motivated to still keep doing the duty?
Yeah, so in the video, like it was said that you have the right to do your duty, but do not think you are the cause of the result, and also not be attached. So there's a whole sequence of events, going on here, because if you think, oh, I am, not the cause, or I should not be attached to the results, then why should I even do anything, right? But all of us have been entrusted with certain responsibilities, right? You uh, have been entrusted with some responsibilities in terms of family or society. So, in order to lead an exemplary life and a life of good karma, like we are talking about the whole karma philosophy here, there are two choices you can do, right? Either you can do a good karma or you can do a bad karma. So, it's your choice which karma you want to do. And the Bhagavad Gita teaches, like Krishna is telling Arjuna, that you must fight. You are administrator, you are a fighter. It's your duty to fight. So you should fight, but do not be attached to the result. Whether you win or lose, you don't have to bother about it. But then Arjuna may think, oh, I am not attached to the result, then why even I should do anything? Then I'll just sit like, ideal. Uh, uh, so so then it becomes like, if he does nothing, basically doing nothing sometimes is like doing something negative, right? If you see something something wrong in front of you and you don't say anything, that's not the right way. If there is injustice happening, or like in the episode of Mahabharata, so much of injustice happened to Arjuna and his family. They were uh, attempted to be murdered. They were attempted to be disrespected. Their wife, was attempted to be disrobed. There were so many attempts against them. So it was his duty as administrator to make sure that everything is in the right place. So so we must do our duty because that is what is entrusted. We have been given this human form of life to do something where we can contribute to our purpose of this human life and to contribute to the society and the overall, ecosystem. So I mean, and it's not that you will be happy when you don't do anything. We are not stones. You will do something. If you don't do the right thing, you will do the wrong thing. So we have to do something.
Yeah, sometimes I get the feeling that, oh, if I'm not attached to my fruits, like why do anything? But I guess it makes sense that, if I'm even not doing anything, that's also probably to something, leading to something later, and more likely than not, it's bad.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So it talks about destiny in the video, and it makes me wonder, um, can you explain like the difference between destiny and our purpose in life?
Got it. Yeah. Are you saying the difference between destiny, like what is
Hare
destined in
Krishna,
the
Prabhuji.
future, and
Yeah,
yes,
Hare Krishna. Amar Vardhan. How are you?
Doing good, Prabhuji. How about you?
Ayan?
Yeah, good.
Yes, Prabhuji. So yeah, Prabhu, I was reviewing the slides. So I think the
I think I
first
have
couple
to.
of slides until slide 5 is good.
Can I mute Ayan?
Okay.
Now the slides with all the verses, 7, 8, 9 or so. So
Yeah.
6,
I can
7,
read
8,
the
9.
whole,
So
so I
typically
cannot
what
mute
we
him.
do, because we have to meet
I think he
the
hears us.
most newcomer person where they are at. So we do quote verses occasionally, but we don't quote so many because each verse then introduces some new concept which can overwhelm them. For example, in the first one, the first is one must deliver himself. So then it's like, what does delivering mean? Right? And then in the second one, it might be the super soul is already reached, but it's like, what is super soul? We haven't talked about super soul. So then it just gets confusing for them.
Okay.
Maybe he'll see a message.
What we
Let
typically
me
do
call
for
Ayan and
is
tell him to mute. Just
we
a
take a
minute. I'll
sandwich
get back.
format. So we say in the ancient
If
Vedas
anybody has
of
Ayan's phone
India or
number,
in the
Pritam, you
ancient
have
Vedic
Ayan's phone
texts of
number?
India,
I do,
it
yeah.
says
Can you call
that
him?
the mind can be the best friend or worst enemy. And then we ask, can someone give some examples of when your mind was your worst enemy? Can someone give some examples of when your mind was your best friend?
Yeah.
So then you can say, actually, in Bhagavad Gita, it says, then you quote the verse, and then you paraphrase the translation, because in the past we've also had, because we don't have time to
He
explain
might be
that
on call
gender
already.
is a bodily construct in every session, right? So in the past we've had women come and be like, oh, I didn't realize this was only a men's group, and they leave,
Okay.
upset. So these kinds of things
No,
have
he didn't
happened
pick
before.
up.
So
I
then
think he might be on call already.
we try to,
Maybe if he
again,
messages
in
us.
between, sometimes it happens because that's what we've been taught, but we do our best to try to give the essence without giving any of the other confusing jargon.
Okay.
That is
Yeah,
something.
sure. We can translation. We can just make it very simple. Just put it in online. Saying that one must uplift themselves with their mind. Something like that. I can just give one-liner. And can I still quote those, 4-5 shlokas, or you want to limit that also?
I think, Prabhu, if you can stick to maybe 2 at most is what we typically try to do, because our goal is to
His
just give
attention
them
I'll try
a
to call him.
taste of, oh, there's something more that exists, but not so much so where they start to feel like I'm being told to believe something that I haven't even understood myself yet. So our goal with these talks is not so much to convey tons and tons of information, but the goal of the talks is to convey interest. Like maybe there are books and knowledge out there which are challenging my preconceived notions that I have yet to discover.
Yeah.
Such that then they want to then enroll in DYS and Bhagavad Gita and all these other programs where then we start to dive deep into the verses and everything.
Okay. Okay, sure. Then I can make these slides real quick.
Sure, Prabhu. Yeah, I think slides
Yeah.
1 through 5 are very nice. I think just 6 through 9, consolidating into 1 or 2 verses with some more practical examples like the slides before and interactive portions will be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Prabhu. Okay, yes. I
Yeah,
get you.
I'll modify it.
Vibhul, Prabhuji?
There you go.
And we heard your conversation. Okay, so the difference between destiny and purpose. What do you think, Zuyan, will be the difference? Because destiny is something which, like, based on, like we discussed, purpose is what you decide, what you have your purpose in mind, right? Based on your free will. And destiny, like it was mentioned here, that generally destiny word is used. What are you destined for? Say, based on your astrological chart, or other things. Okay, you are destined to become rich, for example. But a purpose is, I want to serve the community. That's your purpose with that richness, right? So purpose is something where you have the choice, uh, what you actually want to do with your destiny. Whether you want to spend that money when you become rich into, uh, you know, uh, destroying people, or for, the welfare of the community. That's your purpose. You always have a choice.
Yeah, so I guess destiny is something that's already decided, but you also have a choice as well.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Life is so hard.
Yeah, but we have been always given the choice how we perceive the difficulties in life and convert them into opportunities. You know, so just like the example was given in the flight, you you're destined. You already booked the tickets. Now you're in the flight. Now you're destined to actually stay in the flight until your destination. You're flying from, say, Seattle to San Francisco. So once you chose to be in the flight, you are there in the flight. But now it's your choice. What will you do within the flight? Right? You can meditate in the flight, or you can create havoc in the flight, and problem for other people. So it's up to us how we behave and what we choose to do. For example, there is a very nice example of somebody is a smoker, a chain smoker. They smoke like 6 cigarettes a day. But every time they choose to smoke a cigarette, they have a choice whether to smoke the next cigarette or not. It's not that he's destined to be a chain smoker, but he also has a choice. And based on the choices that you make, you are actually getting habituated. Since you are doing a certain activity again and again and again, you are actually habituated. And that's how, and whatever we are doing in the present becomes our destiny in the future. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Bhagavad Gita teaches us that we choose the type of karma, the type of activities which are favorable for us, to move towards uh, destination which is basically happier, more joyful, full of knowledge, full of bliss. So it tells us to what to choose and what not to choose. Like we studied in the modes and moods, there are goodness, passion, ignorance. So what kind of activity we should choose, so that what we do now makes our destiny in the future.
Expanding on that thought, I don't know if this is what Shuan was asking before when she said purpose. what if that purpose is a higher purpose? Can you say that you're destined to serve that higher purpose? Um, it's not a choice between doing X versus Y, but it's a higher purpose that you are destined to serving.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you are right, Satish. You may be destined to serve a higher purpose, but again, you have a choice. You may be destined, but if you don't do it, if you don't work towards it, then that won't happen
Mhm.
because because activities are take a precedence over destiny, right? And you can also at the same time reverse. You can change your karma by the kind of activities that you do. So your whatever choices you are making